That, is there any objection? I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Second. Moved by Vespers, and supported by Kennedy. Any discussion? If not, the agenda is approved for tonight's meeting. All right, I'm sorry. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we have the approval of our minutes of our April 10th meeting.
Make a motion we approve the minutes.
Support. Is there support?
Support.
Any corrections, additions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next, we have approval of the vouchers listed on pages 7 through 11. May I have a motion to approve the vouchers? Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. That the vouchers on pages 7 to 11 be approved as distributed. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vouchers are approved. Next, we have the review of a statement of revenues and expenditures for our public works operations, water, sewer, other funds. Are there any questions? If there aren't any, we'll just receive and file the report. Next, we have the approval of the treasurer's report for the month of April. May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I move we approve the treasurer's report.
I will second it.
Moved and supported that the treasurer's report for April 2018 of our public works operations funds be approved as distributed. Are there any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Treasurer's report's approved. So we got through all that. We have some people in the audience tonight. Welcome. And anybody that would like to speak, the way we run our meetings, you can speak on items on the agenda, so feel free to do that. If there are other items you want to bring up, please come forward at this time. Okay, everybody's comfortable, so we'll allow you to speak when we get to various items. Moving on to action items, item number 1 is Ember Court Drainage Project, and I'll ask staff to, you all have a copy of the report in front of you, and I think that for the purposes of the president of the association, Bob Meckenheim, you're certainly welcome to join in the discussion, but I think I'll ask John, you want to go over the report, or you or Lorinda? I know John's been involved in it.
Okay, do you want to read the motion first?
Oh, sure. Why don't you?
Okay. Motion to recommend to the Township Board to award the RFQ to Campo Brothers, Inc., lowest bidder in the amount of $17,295 for the Ember Court Drainage Project based upon the recommendation of the Charles E. Raines Company, the Township Engineer and Engineering Consultants.
Okay, so we did receive 2 bids, and they were fairly close. $17,295 was a low bid from Campo Brothers, and RVP Construction of $23,920. So I'm pleased that we did receive a couple of bids. John, will you explain where we are with the project?
After your recommendation to the Township Board, it then goes to the Township Board for approval. Once the Township Board approves it, it will be awarded to Campo Brothers, and we'll get started just as soon as it's dry enough to work back there. Right now, it's very wet. I showed Bob a picture I took yesterday of what I refer to as Lake Ember up there. So as soon as it's dry enough to work, we'll get this job completed. It's been a long time coming, and looking forward to having that completed for the residents.
Well, it has been a long time coming, and through various designs and through various alternative plans where we were unable to secure easements for the drain outlet to go to Stout, the street called Stout. And I know John worked on it quite a bit. We do have 2 easements now signed and executed by property owners.
3.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, 3. So we have 3 easements signed and executed. We have copies of those. We're going to file them. Everybody's got the plan, which is on page 23 of our report. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see the drawing, but it's basically coming in from a low point of the wetland to the parcels on Stout around their backyard, down the side yard, into a drain on Stout. Only other comment I have, one cost we still haven't experienced yet is we agreed that we would landscape the side yards with some pretty heavy-duty trees and shrubs. So I'm going to speculate here, I don't want anybody to be surprised. We're talking about some fairly good-sized trees, evergreen, some shrubs, and didn't you tell me, John, that one homeowner requested a certain species of tree?
Correct. And so there's going to be 3 homeowners get 3 trees each at the discretion of what they choose to have for the construction easement they've granted us for this project.
9 trees planted.
Correct.
Guaranteed by landscape. We have to get the prices on that yet. So probably at our whenever this gets done, we'll be dealing with that. We'll get prices. But I'm going to guess that landscaping could cost $5,000 to $7,000, which is still much cheaper than what we were looking at as $50,000 at one point for costs. So.
And they're good for what, a year, 2 years?
Guaranteed.
The guarantee will be for a year, yeah. Anything else, John, on this?
Like I said, looking forward to getting this completed.
Are there any questions from the board at this time?
How's this, Bob?
Sounds good to me.
Would you like to come up and address us with anything? I don't know, since the rains the other day, how much water's standing back there.
I just saw a picture.
Time?
Yeah, just showed me a picture of it. It's a lake, and we'll all be looking forward to the solution to this problem. Other than that, go get them.
Okay, so thank you. One other comment I have is, haven't looked at the construction specs, but there's some hand digging part of this, right?
Correct.
We're going to be very close to the one house, and they're going to hand dig. It's not deep at all. It's just below ground to get into the drain. So,
And then one other thing, Bob, to keep in mind is because that is a technical wetland back there, we cannot drain it. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower it down to where it doesn't affect your properties near as much. So I'll tell your homeowners it's not going to dry up back there, but it's going to be a lot better than it's ever been.
Okay.
well, based on our experience last August, it was dry.
Yes.
It dries up.
It does dry up anyway, but in the spring is where you get impingement on people's backyards,
Oh, yes, absolutely.
and that's what they're mainly concerned about.
Understand. Okay, well, we're finally moving forward with this. So if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to recommend to the Township Board that the lowest bidder, Campo Brothers, be awarded a contract for $17,295 for the Ember Court Drainage Project.
I will make that motion for action item number 1.
Support.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Put down for support, just 3 people said support.
I heard John first.
Okay, all right.
I-
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I did. I
That's
heard
good.
John
I only
first.
heard you. You're sitting next to me. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Next item, action items I'll read. It's for repairs in the DPS parking lot. Some of the asphalt, due to age, wear, and tear, it has been 20 years since it was first installed, with minor repairs made in the past. There have been 2 proposals received, one from King Curb Asphalt Company and one from Jeffrey Company, Asphalt Company. Well, John, I'll let you, before we get into a motion, I'll let you explain what you're up against there. And before you do, I guess, the timing here, Jim Budney couldn't be here tonight, but Jim called me yesterday on this. And Jim asked that we delay this, table it. His concern was, I think he's not totally convinced that we need to spend this kind of money at the DPW yard, and thought maybe we could better spend it on some street work or something. I know that we don't want to let the deterioration occur in the asphalt pavement. It's where we have to work every day. But at any rate, Jim asked that it be delayed so that everybody in the next month would have a chance to go and look at, if you haven't already, and I've been over there with John, but just look at the asphalt pavement around the garage where Public Works and the airport work out of. So that was a simple request that Jim made. It's not a motion, of course. So, John, I'll let you have the floor.
So we did, the way we quoted this was, we have numerous areas throughout the township where we have water main breaks during the winter and the past season. So we lumped it together to get favorable pricing on the whole package. And so as you can see in your package, the King Curb was the low bidder. And so we've been discussing making these repairs to the parking lot down at DPS for quite a while. The main door that we use to come in and out of and wash all our equipment off, the pavement's just totally deteriorated. Bill and I had discussed it last year, and we put it off to this year. I just don't like continually delaying that, because we're going to need base repairs and total replacement of the parking lot if we don't do it soon. So what we're proposing to do is that area, the area right in front of the building where people would come if they were coming into the building, where the parking lot, parking areas are, and then on the east side of the building around the sanitary manholes, it's all deteriorated, as well as on the west side around some of the drainage structures. So we're going to do numerous areas in the parking lot itself to just keep that going, and then to help keep the maintenance up on that. And then there was also a proposal submitted, which will be forwarded to the Airport Commission, for possibly doing a stripe down the middle of the driveway from all the truck traffic from when they redid the runway recently. So those are a couple of things that just need to be addressed, and if we want to wait till next year, then we wait till next year. But I think it does need to be addressed. It's been 20 years since it was installed, and that is the lifespan of an asphalt driveway, or parking lot, excuse
And
me.
this is also a budgeted item. It doesn't fall under roads, it's falling under our maintenance.
I know.
Okay.
So I have a question, John, to clarify.
Yes.
In the report we have, you highlighted on the King Curb bid, $2.94 a square foot
Correct. For
And
the
that's-
parking lot.
That's
for the parking lot, and that's compared with the $4.16 a square foot
Correct.
from the bid from Jeffrey Blacktop Paving Company? Okay, so that's the comparison.
That's for the parking lot. And then you see the numbers for the road.
Oh,
repairs.
I failed to mention, the other question that Jim raised was, should there be some discussion with the airport? And you can speak to this issue. Should there be some discussion with the airport about helping with some of these repairs out of their budget, because all that trucking went through the DPW yard?
So, well, the areas that we propose to repair are DPS issues. Now, there's a separate bid, which is not in that package, for a repair that goes, there's a center joint right down the middle of the driveway where all that truck traffic was. So it'd be 4.5 feet on each side, because the paver's 9 feet wide. So go right down the middle, the length of the driveway.
That's starting to fail?
Yes.
Alligator or what? Are you having chuck holes or what?
You can see the dips from the tires.
Anybody have any comments on this? I'm looking to you, Ted. I know you were involved with the airport.
I think the airport has some obligations in their contract. The vendor to the airport had some obligations to make whole any damage that they did. I don't know where that's at right now. I haven't had this conversation with Mike. I didn't know it was an issue. My suggestion would be that because this is pretty time sensitive on the bid process, that we move it through this commission, and Mr. Budney and the township board can have their discussion at the board level, rather than delay it. You delay it here, then it doesn't even get heard until
Then you're one more month after.
another month, and then another month to issue. So I think we'd probably be smart to go ahead and have that discussion prior to it coming up for vote next Monday at the township board meeting. But this board should proceed with, in my opinion, we should proceed through this board body if we're okay with it, and then let the township board deal with the issues that Mr. Budney has.
And Jim's on the township board, so it's not like
Right.
he's out of the ballpark. I mean, he's,
But that argument's going to be had.
Yeah.
So where we have it is, the issue is, are we going to have it here, or are we going to have it at the board level? If the rest of this board is okay with it, or the rest of this commission's okay with it, move forward with it, get it up to township board, because they're going to make the final decision anyway.
and it's because of the timing too on the
Right,
paving.
absolutely, timing. Timing's everything.
Well, if it doesn't get approved tonight, these main break restorations aren't going to get done for another 2 months.
So I just said.
Well,
And the one on Meridian, north of Ferry Road that's bad. I hit that today with my,
that's bad, you're right, but Les, you could
Everybody
always...
knows we're on
No,
top
they
of
could
that.
award, I think they could award the rest.
Yeah, we can.
We just pulled that out.
And we do.
Tabled that part of it.
okay.
I'll leave that up to you guys, but my suggestion would be, go ahead, if this commission's okay with it, move it up and let the township board argue it out.
All right. And I think you make a valid point, because I want to ask Lorinda a question. This would not go to the township board till...
Oh, their June meeting.
Their first meeting in
The first
June.
meeting in June, correct.
So,
Okay, so just something else just to keep in mind for some input is the water main break sites is totally separate from the action item itself. That's just a maintenance item that we do every year. It's a matter of the parking lot expenditure. So we're not going to delay that. And the Ferry Road, just so everybody out there knows, we're on that all the time. We were just there yesterday, continually putting stone in there and keeping that as secure as possible. And just as soon as
I know you have.
we get done with this conversation, we're going to have King Curb out here real soon.
You're not going to be able to award it till June.
The maintenance part we can.
Oh, you will?
That's
Maintenance
an
part
annual
is
maintenance
just-
that we
yeah, it's our
expend
annual
every
maintenance.
year. We just got a better price on the parking lot because
We're lumping it together.
lumping it all together.
Yeah.
And it's early.
And it's early, you're right.
Do I understand you right, that the board has already approved the road work? Or is it here?
No, the annual maintenance that we do on water main breaks, we just
Okay,
every year it's
we just do it. We get
we
two
get the
prices.
two prices and
We
go with the
just
do it.
cheapest.
got it. So it's up to you, Jim, Bill, whatever you want to do.
No, I think those are all valid points, so, Phil.
Just
Hey,
one, go ahead, Les.
Let me ask you a question.
John, why is the discrepancy of the square footage for the 8,500 square feet from King Curb and then 5,500 to 6,000 square feet from the higher bidder? I mean, are we going to do 8,500 square feet, or do we need to, or could we get by with only doing a lesser number of square
We
feet?
can do whatever number everybody agrees upon. It's just, that's the amount of square foot he could do for that amount of money.
Oh, you gave him amount of money to spend.
And showed him areas and said,
Okay, so
when
you
we're
just-
out of
okay,
money, then
got
we
it
stop
then.
there.
All right. No, that answers it.
That does answer it.
Okay, I make a motion. Action item number 2 be sent to the township board for approval.
Second.
Supported that, and I assume it's to do the repairs at the DPW parking lot, right?
Correct?
And it's by King Curb, I guess. That's what you're.
Like King Curb.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we'll move forward. It's going to be forwarded to the township board, but just to clarify then, the water main repairs are you're going to...
Proceed. Yep.
That'll be the only item of these items that'll go to the township board?
The parking lot, yes.
Okay, I guess we got that in order. All right, the item that I added, I have a handout for everybody. I think I give you 5 of them, so you can pass one to Mr. Nelson and Ted. No, we got extra.
Thank you.
I have another extra one, too, so.
You want to?
Thank you.
I'd like Lorinda to come up to the podium and put on the screen the photographs. what I just passed out, John Keim provided me shortly after our last meeting, our April meeting, and told me what they were going to do is out in front of the township office to repair the deteriorated joints. And here's a picture of it. So essentially what you have is a bid spec, a bid advertisement from the city of Gibraltar that they did last year. The second sheet is a bid that they received from Campo Brothers, and another bid that they received from GV Cement Contracting, who's been doing a lot of our slab repairs the last few years. So, when John showed me that when they saw cut these repairs, you had the joint that was anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 inches wide.
12 out in front.
Deteriorated. And we started looking around and talking about this a little bit. And I'll try to organize some of the issues in an organized fashion. But one of the issues is Campo Brothers said they would hold the bid price that they gave to Gibraltar last year if we wanted to take their bid from last year. Now, that was a legitimate bid price. John Keim tells me, we are a member of the Downriver Association Public Works through the community conference, where public works officials meet once a month. And just like you have in the fire department, you have mutual aid. So there's a mutual aid pact that's been a compact that's been developed. It's an informal deal, but where they take bids on certain items in the public works world, where it's Southgate or Wyandotte or here, Riverview, that they can share the contractors' bids if people will hold their bids. And sometimes they do, but mostly they do. So we'd have to overcome our bidding process. But when I saw this, I lived near the high school, and I noticed how bad Park Lane is between Ferry. It's mostly between LaSalle Court and Macomb, and it's used by high school people all the time. We've had a new deterioration on Gray's Drive, and these are all at the joints, concrete joints. And then on Lake Street, which comes off Macomb, goes right into the front entrance to that's a short one block.
Lions.
Into the Lion Street. And the same thing occurs there. Then I also happen to go to, I don't have any children in Park Lane Elementary, but I also go to Sacred Heart, and I noticed the bad joints leading, mostly in front of the elementary school. I started thinking about this and thought, boy, the cost of a typical slab is $1,300 to $1,400 to tear it out and replace it. That's $1,300, $1,400. And it's usually because we have one side, maybe two, that have a deteriorated joint. And based on these bid prices that we got, it's about $18.35 a linear foot for an 8-inch cutout. And they drill and put re-rod in and an epoxy, and then the cement goes back in and makes this kind of a repair. To me, that's much cheaper. And I multiplied it out, used the 15-foot section. 15-foot section is only $275. If you tear out the whole slab, you're talking $1,300. So after talking to John about this, and John, I give you and Lorinda, but you credit for going out and seeking this out, I think we could address some major problems by our schools, by particularly Park Lane, Sacred Heart Church, and the high school, where there's a lot of traffic on Park Lane, on Lion, and on Gray's Drive. And I just threw a figure out of, like, what if we did 3,000 feet? Maybe we don't have to do that much. We haven't actually measured it. The other thing that's interesting to me is John said he could do the layout where he wants it to go, take the worst first, and he would do the inspection. So there'd be no overcharge for any engineering or of that sort, and we could get it done efficiently. Now, my concern is that because it's near the schools, we'd want this work to be done before school starts. And if we were to approve this tonight, which I hope we do, we could take it to the first meeting of the Township Board in June the work would probably be done in July and August and be done before school starts. That's what I would like to push for. And I'd like to call it a pilot concrete joint repair program for us. Now, John has also checked with the county road people based on their experience, and they do some of it. And a couple other communities, I'll let you recite what you found out at your Public Works meeting, have done this, and this is probably a 10, 12-year fix anyway. And it's greatly reduced. We can really, these areas are very bad. I didn't bring photos of Park Lane, how bad it is, but have some of you seen it, how bad it is? I know you've seen it now, Ted, right? Based on your new residence there. Anyway, I'd like to push this forward. I want to make a motion, and then we'll discuss it. My motion would be is that we make a recommendation to the Township Board, and this may get a little complicated, that we move forward with a pilot concrete joint repair program, if we can, accepting the bids submitted to the City of Gibraltar August 23rd of 2017, with the low bid submitted by Campo Brothers for the complete repair of the joints at $18.35 a linear foot, a budgeted amount not to exceed, I'll say $60,000. Now, we have $100,000 in the budget for repairs this year. I was thinking if 1,000 feet would be $18,035, $350. So not to exceed $60,000. And we may not do 3,000.
Even at $20 a foot would be
$60,000. That's what I was thinking. But if you're familiar with those roads at all, to me, we get something tremendously accomplished. Fact is, Park Lane's been on the list over by the high school to get the county to repair the potholes with some hot asphalt. They just did it a couple days ago. Big improvement. You had some holes that were this deep. And so that's my story, and I guess I'll stick to it. Now, that's my motion. Is there support?
I'll support it.
Yeah.
All right, who said it first?
John Riley spoke up first.
John Riley, okay.
Okay, Ted?
Just a clarification, are you proposing, do we have a bid on this?
Bid was submitted to Gibraltar last year.
We have a bid on this.
No. But under the Public Works Compact, the Downriver Community Association, they meet once a month. That would be the auspices under which I'm proposing that this be done so we could get the work done this year.
I don't have a problem with that. If you have a bid and we have the funds in our maintenance fund repair account. So all you're going to do is go to the Township Board with a motion to move forward.
And to accept the bid submitted to the City of Gibraltar last year, where they've already installed $100,000 worth of this work.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't see a problem with it.
And be under that compact.
Right.
So just so you know, Ted, that's with this mutual aid agreement through the Downriver Community Conference, right now there's one out there for road repairs, road salt, water main repair clamps, and numerous others, including crack sealing of joints.
I don't have a problem. If we've got some kind of a bid that we can go to them with, because it'll get approved, I know it will from the recommendation from this board, so.
Okay, so are there other comments or questions? No. All right, so we have a motion, we have a support. Linda, I'll help you edit that motion. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I just want to say for the audience, we're always looking at ways of getting things done cheaper and a good fix. And that's why we came up with chip sealing roads a few years ago, and we did get a lot accomplished for about 20% of the cost of resurfacing a road. And by the way, those roads need to be chip sealed again, or we're going to be back to where we were. But I want to thank John for being innovative in his thought on this. This is a good program. I'm excited about it, particularly since I do drive Park Lane a lot, both near Sacred Heart and near the high school. So thank you very much for your support.
Did you also look at Park Lane, Playscape Drive?
Oh, I've looked. It's a great candidate if we want to go there.
Yeah, well, the mail Mail trucks are the ones that come in and out of there all day long.
Correct.
I have not, Les, but I'll tell you what, I would, if you want, I'd entertain a motion. If we're going to do 3,000 feet, we want to do the worst first, where children and parents and whatnot, it's almost like a school. That's what attracts, people take young children there. Kids ride bikes there, right?
Right.
So if you want to offer a motion to amend this to ask us to look at Playscape Drive as well, I'd be...
Okay, I will make a motion that you amend this and look at Playscape Drive
Okay, as well.
for repair.
Is there support?
Yes.
Support. Right, any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're going to look at Playscape Drive. That'll be part of it, and I guess what I'm suggesting is that John will probably determine, John and Lorinda, where the 3,000 linear feet should be spent. Worst areas. Okay?
Sure.
And I appreciate everybody supporting. I'm excited about trying this.
That's a good idea.
I think so too. So, all right, we're done with our action items. I'm sorry.
Manager's report, I
Yep.
guess.
Manager's report. Lorinda.
Okay, under the first one, we have the West River Water Main Project update. In your packet, you will have 2 letters that I sent out on May 2nd, giving them a construction bulletin update regarding the sudden closure of the little bridge over West River. I sent out a push notification this morning. We're going to do one-way, southbound only between Church and Ferry beginning on Thursday. The second letter I sent out was on the fire hydrant location, and so far I've received 4 calls on people that would like to relocate their fire hydrants a little bit. So we're going to see if we can play with it a little bit. I explained to them that, you know, we had 8 to begin with between Church and Parkway, and we're going to remove those and replace them with 17 brand new ones, and which makes the fire department extremely happy. And we have strategically located them about 500 feet apart. There might be some wiggle room, maybe moving them 20 feet one way or another, but we're going to work with these residents to make sure that they're satisfied. They do have a stake located in the front yard. It has a blue ribbon around it. You'll notice that there will be 2. One will be located by the road, the other one is an offset stake in case the first one disappears. So that's approximately where it's going to be located. If any of the residents still have questions, I'm available. My number's posted, and or they can call the engineer's office as well. I did send out that same notice that you handed out at last month's meeting to let the residents know that they have a name that they can contact as well.
Are there any questions of Lorinda? I have a couple. You say today or soon you're going to implement the one-way traffic?
Thursday.
So there's going to be a lot more signage.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Will some of it be on Meridian?
Yes.
Will the signs for Westcroft Garden, that they're open for business?
They're already up.
We
One of them
we
is
purchased them
anyways.
and I put them up in that storm on Friday, took them back down. So
Oh,
I collected
geez.
them. I'm regrouping with how I'm going to mount them. I've been in touch with them. I was there yesterday, and they're all happy with the way things are going right now. We're also going to place a one-way arrow when people come out of Westcroft, so they know they can only go southbound from there. So
That's good.
we're on top of that.
Okay, so we'll see a lot more signage out there.
Yes.
And I want to acknowledge that Lorinda came up with this idea that this is called Construction Bulletin Number 1. That's page 29. And the idea there is we're going to keep track of all the construction bulletins in order as new issues need to be addressed. So, thank you. I think that was a good move. And we'll try and keep in touch with the residents. I thought maybe there'd be some residents here tonight.
So did I.
Because, frankly, as chairman of the DPS, I was, and I know staff was, for the whole week that the bridge was closed, I thought they were working on the bridge. Until John called me and said, well, what do you think of that problem underneath the overpass? Now, are all of you aware that they're working on the overpass, not the bridge structure?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't at the time. I don't think anybody was. And of course, now, and I asked one of the construction workers, you did too, how long is this going to be like this? And he said, well, indefinitely until we know. So we don't know what the fix is. And
That's probably the fix.
oh gosh, close it permanently?
That could be.
Well, the fix might be to put a new overpass in, I guess. That's one alternative. But have you heard anything about the communications with the county and the township board on this?
I've heard nothing.
Bill, actually, I did today at the Downriver Community Conference. I brought it to the attention of the Wayne County representative and asked him to make contact with Dale, and he said there's a meeting scheduled with Brian currently.
I mean, if you want to hear a lot of rumors, go down and talk to the workers. They'll give you all kinds of stories, and those stories are all flying around the island. But none of them are based on fact.
There's got to be one person that's really in charge of that for Wayne County. And whoever that person is, we always talk about Wayne County, Wayne County, Wayne County. That's almost a worthless expression. Whoever's really running the show, Mr. Loftus can send him a letter and contact him.
He did.
He's a busy guy, so he needs some help. I'd like to know what the name is. That's the way you best deal with Wayne County.
Yeah, the supervisor
and many of those
did.
people really enjoy doing a good job.
Yes, Supervisor Loftus did send a letter out to Beverly Watts, and she has been in touch with him, and they are arranging a meeting. They're trying to get all schedules together to meet. So hopefully we'll have a resolution one way or the other soon.
I think, John, part of the problem, I've been to a couple meetings a year ago on this, there's not one person. You have the testing staff, engineers.
Oh, sure. Somebody's got to sign off.
And the other
Ultimately, the responsibility for an engineering situation like that is probably forced on some poor guy that might not have a lot of input before they shove the paper underneath his chin. That's the way that works.
Mr. Nelson, you have anything to add to this? You or Ted? No.
No, I don't. I just, it's unfortunate, the whole concept of how this handled. I mean, we were notified we were given 1 day's notice.
I think Mr. Loftus was given a call.
Early in the day.
Yeah, like at 5 o'clock.
My comment to him was, how can they do that? Why would they do that? And the comment that he got was because they can, period.
And it was less than 24 hours. Might have been like 3-4 hours notice. That was it.
That's really unfortunate. I would hope I would hope that they had more pre-planning than that, unless something happened that we don't know about. There could have been something that happened to that bridge that we don't know about. And I just don't know that. And I'm not going to speculate, because the minute I do that, then it becomes news.
Okay, well,
Bill,
yeah.
what I really didn't like about it, obviously, Ted just referred to the timing and when they let us know and yada, yada, yada. But Dale Ream got thrown under the bus by all kinds of people. It's not his fault, obviously, but it's unfortunate that him and Brian Loftus had to take this kind of abuse because the county didn't notify us in a timely fashion.
And they said they were going to a year ago. They said they were going to communicate. I remember Mrs. Watts saying she's all about communication. Well,
yeah, we've heard the story. Everybody was all excited because we were getting great cooperation. Here we are. No comment. How's that?
Okay. Well, anyway,
my son and I went down and talked to the foreman on that job a week ago, or a week and a half ago, and he didn't know anything about it either. It was dumped in his lap, but he could not believe that they're down there working on that overpass bridge and there is nobody working on the swing span. He could not believe it.
Well, neither could I. When I learned, I mean, I thought that's what they were working on the bridge structure itself, but so that's why
I guess they were down there working today, because my other son told me they had some beams and stuff they were putting down there.
Well, they were working Sunday. and they had a crew of 5 or 6 people there, putting wedges, wood wedges, up underneath the structure they built. Sunday. So I'm sure that's double time, or who knows, at least time and a half.
there all day Saturday, too.
And they had a crew of 5 or 6 people there. So, I don't know. We want the bridge to be safe, that's for sure.
Well, there's a big white Ford pickup truck sitting there. That's the head guy.
All right, so back to the purpose of this discussion is a good letter with the residents of West Road. Any residents of West Road that are watching this meeting, if you have questions about the project, you've been given a letter of who to call, and one of them is sitting right over here, Mrs. Beneteau, our director. So you can continue. Thank you.
Okay, second update is from the wastewater treatment plant, Ryan Walsh.
Ryan's our director at the wastewater treatment plant. Ryan, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Waste management, centrifuge, sludge haul. We're just waiting on a final signature on that, and we have everything else is lined up with that. So.
They're aware of the traffic problems getting to and from the plant now?
No, I haven't said that. I'll make sure that they
Once the
know
contract
that.
is signed,
Yeah.
we'll have a meeting with them
Okay.
so that they can find out about the road closure.
Okay.
And raw sewage pump number 3 will be installed by Suez by mid-month, and that's been finalized.
Okay, good.
That's all I have.
All right, well, thank you, and
Report.
everybody should know that I think you have your first child is 2 weeks old.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Boy or girl, what's the name?
The girl, Brianna.
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Not getting much sleep, are you?
No, I'm not. Nope. But that's all right. It flies by. So.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Next item.
Next item is the Wayne County Road Initiative funding dollars and our annual roads tour. Okay, as you know, I had mentioned before that Wayne County has come up with a different way of doing their roads initiative this year. They've taken the bulk of the money and they split it between the 9 different townships so that we get it equally. The amount would be $388,888 with a 20% match from the township. We have to come up with the plans. They have to be approved by the county prior to us even going out for bid. So if we can come up with some projects this year, by the time we're finished going through the process, we can probably do something next year at this time. So we need to schedule a roads tour to find out what we want to do this year. And this is for the neighborhood streets. This is not for our main ones like Meridian and East and West River. We're looking at neighborhood streets to do.
So one idea that might be the simplest is to have a meeting an hour and a half before our regular meeting next month or something. I don't know how that would work with people. What we've done is we've sort of had the staff identify in the past the worst areas where we need work. We try to spread it around the whole township, and then we get in a few cars and then go look at the various spots and then come back and rate them on where we think we ought to fix it.
John should ask the police, too, the men that are on patrol.
I've had residents submit pictures of some of the concrete in their area. They'd like to see some crack sealing done, possibly even in their neighborhoods. I don't know what else. If you have you gotten anything from anybody?
Lots of concrete repairs.
Yeah, lots of concrete repairs.
Okay,
Know
so
that.
I'll ask the commission, instead of having a special meeting, I suppose, what if we met an hour and a half or so or two before our next meeting, like at 5 o'clock, I don't know the date of our next meeting.
12th.
That would be June 12th?
12th, yeah.
And get some sandwiches in here. We could do the road tour, and while we're eating sandwiches, we could discuss our priorities. And I think certainly we can't do it this year because by all the hoops we have to go through, we'd be talking about next spring, be ready, have the bids in place, and be ready to go.
No, good idea.
Is everybody for meeting at 5 o'clock?
Sure.
Before our meeting, do the roads tour? Okay, so we'll plan that then, on June 12th.
Bill,
Yes.
what was the amount last year?
We
Nothing.
had $500,000 2 years in a row that we were able to utilize.
As I recall, that wasn't last year. It was
No,
prior 2 years.
it was a couple years ago.
We had nothing last
There were
year.
nothing last year. It was 2 years in a row we were able to get $500,000.
Extra funding from them?
That was the funding that was provided from them, yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
It took us a long
6
time
months
to
to
get
get paid.
reimbursed, but we did get it.
Thank you.
Item?
Okay, oh yeah, next one. Wayne County Household Hazardous Waste Collection. They will be hosting one on June the 9th at the Henry Ford College at 5101 Evergreen Road in Dearborn, which is just south of Ford Road. It'll be held between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Make sure you get there early because they do cut you off in line. 2 o'clock, boom. If you're not through the gate, you're not getting in. So some of the items that they will accept are household paints, stains and dyes, floor wax, floor care products, furniture polish, pharmaceutical waste, as long as it's the non-controlled substances only. They'll take nail polish, glue, fertilizer, lawn and garden chemicals, and pesticides. They'll take cell phones, fax machines, copiers, computers, printers, fire extinguishers, old smoke detectors, and automotive batteries and dry cell batteries, and also fluorescent bulbs. They will also accept antifreeze, motor oil, and gasoline. So only household generated projects from Wayne County residents will be accepted, and they will ask for your identification. Some items that they will not accept are commercial waste, radioactive materials, industrial waste, any type of explosives, ammunition, 55-gallon drums, household trash, refrigerators and microwaves, or other appliances. Tires, yard waste, roofing shingles, and concrete will not be accepted. So for more information on how to dispose of these items, you can contact their Wayne County Resource Recovery Coordinator at 734-326-3936. And I already have this posted on the township website.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Nelson?
A housekeeping item is now Henry Ford College. The college took the community.
Henry Ford College.
Henry Ford College.
Yeah, not community college, yes.
That's an interesting point, though, really. It's a regular college.
I know, I listed it as community
They
college.
would have 4-year degrees there.
3 4-year degrees there, yeah.
That's very nice.
Okay, next item.
Okay, discussion items. A plan for road improvements and maintenance. Mr. Costa.
So page 34 of your packet is really just transmits the road plan that we've already approved, and I see Mr. Zelinski here. Maybe he's interested in that, and Mr. Graziola and another gentleman. You're certainly invited to come up and speak. We approved this at our last meeting, and we can make sure you have copies of it. We didn't run copies tonight, but our plan is, we've already approved this. Our plan is, I'm speaking to the commission now, the first meeting in June for the township board is...
You're going to this one next Monday. This goes in front of the board next Monday, this plan. It's a presentation that you're going to put on?
It's not on the agenda for next month.
On the board agenda? It should be. It should be under presentations, yes. Yes, I think it's there, Bill.
I thought it was June. I thought it was.
I don't think it's June. Let me look.
When I talked to the township clerk, I think she said it was too late to get it on.
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
No. I
Maybe
don't
that's,
think so.
maybe the presentation is on.
The presentation
Their
is
action.
on.
All right.
Right.
We're not going to, so here's our plan.
Yes.
Okay. So next Monday night, right?
Correct.
We're going to the Township Board with a presentation, with the hope, and I'll speak to the board members, we're not asking you to, we're going to give it to you, we're not asking you to approve it the same night we give it to you. I think they all know it's coming. But, so what I wanted to do is invite, and I'll ask Lorinda to clarify this, we're going to stand up before the Township Board and make a presentation on this plan, and it's about a 4-page report here at this point. I redid the cover memo to the Township Board, and it talks about all the things we've done over the past year and the meetings we've had with some of these residents, and it's studying the county needs study and the fact that we're not on it for projects. These are for our major roads. What we're recommending is that on November 6th, Election Day, November 6th, 2018, that the Township Board submit to the voters a proposal to levy a 2 mil tax for road improvements for 12 years. The sole purpose is improving certain primary roads, providing for maintenance on all roads throughout the township. And then, Mr. Grazioli, and I forgot the other gentleman's name. What is it? Jim. It's a year-by-year summary of what we're going to do, and I would tell you that if it's approved in 2019, the first project is to resurface and widen 2 feet Church Road. And the second year, basically, and I'm just going to highlight this, 2020, if it's approved, we would resurface several areas of East River Road, about 3 miles of East River Road, which are in really bad shape, and finish West River Road up to Horse Mill. And then the third year, we would focus on Meridian and Bellevue, and then the fourth year, Ferry and other roads. So that's just a summary. What I primarily wanted to do is invite you people, the township or the DPS Commission, those of you that can make it, to join me at the meeting next Monday night.
On Monday.
So we could stand before them, and if I knew who would be coming or planning on coming, you don't have to speak, but I'd ask you to maybe a comment or two if you want to. So now I feel this way. There's 2 reasons to go to the Township Board, but we're not on for this
You're on
pilot
for a
program. Not
right.
the pilot program.
No.
We're not on.
Just the presentation.
All right. So what is the first meeting date? And it's the second Monday of June?
What is it? Is it June 11th? I gotta look.
Yes, that's a Monday.
I think it's June 11th.
That's a Monday. So June 11th, hopefully the Township Board would put this on their agenda, and I'll plan on being there as well, and any of you as well. But then, so would this pilot joint program be on, we can explain that too. So anyway, this is a big deal for me to move forward with this. So I invite anybody to come up and speak to us. You as well, Bob.
You didn't mention my road name, though.
It's gravel.
It does control.
Could it stay gravel?
Funny, just talking here. Yeah, I'm Mark Grazioli. I live on Knutson, and I use church quite a bit, as well as Meridian. And I've been here before, but I'm totally support this road program. And I've been talking to a lot of people, trying to drum up support and get some votes for it, because I think we need this road program on the island. One of the pitches I make to people is that Grosville is a great place to live. We have about the safest community in Michigan. We've got the best schools, if not the best, one of the best, certainly if not the best, and yet we got some pretty poor roads. And so that needs to change. And it isn't, 2 mills over 12 years is not that much. So we need to take the bull by the horns and do it. So I guess I will be attending the May presentation, and I'll attend the next one when the Township Board votes on it.
Good.
That's my plan.
Bring all your neighbors.
I can bring some people if you like them. I can get some people drummed up. That's where I see what I want to do. So you're talking about in church, is it the north or south side that the 2 foot's going on?
Well, that has to be determined yet, but
Oh,
I've
okay.
always felt it was easier to do it on the north side. Because from the canal, on the north side, from the canal to East River, or up to Park Lane, that's where the deepest ditches are. And the ditches on the north side, after you leave the canal and head east, are in pretty bad shape, pretty deep to begin
Yeah.
with. So that's my thought.
Well, and it needs to be widened because you get a lot of traffic, and when you drive, I know there hasn't been many accidents. I guess we got good drivers on the island. But when I drive it, I'm careful, and I'm sure other people are too. And so that's my plan, and I appreciate this board moving this along. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, nobody else wishes to speak? Thanks for being here. Bob, do you wish to speak to something here?
No, I had the opportunity to see the live performance tonight, so I come see it.
Thank you very much. All right, so with that, you're all invited to attend. And we've already talked about the Wayne County Roads Initiative. I don't have anything else, frankly. So we'll go around the table. Les?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Bill?
Mr. Chairman, can I make just one comment on the plan for road improvements and maintenance?
Yes.
And my only comment would be on the second bullet point. I would just exclude the 1 mil will generate approximately 590,000 and just make the sentence based on our rolls, 2 mills will generate approximately 1,180,000. I just don't even want to imply that we might be considering 1 mil instead of the 2. And,
Okay.
and that's my only comment.
Anybody have a problem with deleting that?
No, he makes a good point.
Delete that, Lorinda. Okay? You got it? That's on page 35?
Okay,
Correct.
you know that's already gone to the board, your
Okay.
presentation, so.
That's okay,
So you
but
know.
for purposes, ultimately, we're going to be, this is the kind of information we're going to
Okay.
disseminate to the public if it's put on the ballot, right? So I think it's a good point.
Okay. That's all.
Anything else, Phil?
No, nothing
John?
else.
The Recreation Department has an excellent brochure that comes in the mail, and you should look for it. Les got his, I got mine, Phil hasn't got his yet. So really be sure to look at that. It's not junk mail. It's informative, specific, and colorful. It's professionally done, and that's all I have at this point.
I think that's a very good comment. I had a couple of people that saw it in my house. Some friends of my wife's were over, and they were talking about it. So it's nicely done.
Kim O'Farrell, rec director, bid it to 3 different vendors it's the old channels, is what it is. Channel, it was informative, but it got an old tired, and the paper wasn't a real good quality. And so the bidding process, by doing what we're doing it now, we saved about half the cost of what we did before. So not only is it wonderful, but it's less expensive.
Wow,
Thank you, Kim O'Farrell.
that's good. Thank you for the comment.
Sure.
Moving on, Brenda?
No.
Nothing? Lenny?
No, I agree that pamphlet that came out this week really looks good. I was impressed and surprised. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Ted, anything else? John?
I'd just like everyone to know that our spring fire hydrant flushing program is in progress, and if you are signed up for the Grosdale Connect app, you will get daily notifications on what areas we're flushing in, so you're aware of that. Currently, we're moving north to south, and we're up to Manchester, coming southbound from there, so probably another week we should have that program completed. Our water main break restoration areas is a work in progress. We've got most of them addressed with grass seed in place. Asphalt repairs should begin in the next week or 2 weeks. And that's all we have.
Brenda?
The only thing I have to add is that a lot of people have been calling, wanting to know about Dump the Junk. The Open Space Greenways Committee has decided that this year they're only going to host one, and that won't be until October the 13th, just to let everybody know. So look at the website. If the household hazardous waste day is, someplace where you can take it to, those are posted. The county usually hosts those 4 times a year. So make sure you look for updates.
Just a side question. I know in my neighborhood, we're Monday collection day, and a couple weeks ago, it was getting dark, and they were still collecting refuse. Have you had any complaints?
I have. They had some problems with their trucks. They had a couple breakdowns, so they were out collecting late. In the beginning, it's usually pretty heavy because everybody has been holding onto their bags from the previous fall. And I did mention that to their route supervisor, and he said that they did have some breakdowns, but they're hoping to correct it, because I did notice even tonight they were picking up trash even late today. So I guess they've had some pretty long days going on.
Well, don't they have to look and see how much stuff they put in those trucks because of the weight limits?
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
They've been going. Yeah, they know. The county has been good. Like the way Master said, if you're going to write a ticket, you wait for a rainy day and you get hold of one of those yard waste ones, because they're going to be over the weight limit just because the grass is wet. Everything's soggy. So, but he's been pretty good about
And I also, from reading the minutes of our last meeting, we set up a committee involving Brenda and Lenny and Jim Budney to meet with you about this. The issue that Waste Management raised about the recycling.
Right, and I did
problems.
send out an email to you today, and I've heard back from Mr. Budney and Brenda and Lenny. I just need to know your schedule so we can get something scheduled.
Just let me know the date.
Have they asked
okay.
for a meeting?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I did receive a letter, and they did ask for a meeting so that they could sit down and discuss it. Because I let him know that we had a subcommittee already formed before I even received the letter. So I have been in contact with Mr. Conaway on it. So
As we talked about the last time, if the problem is affecting us, it's affecting everybody.
yes, it is.
Or there isn't a problem. So, right?
Correct.
So that would be my interest. All right, thanks. Anything else? If nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn at 8:05 p.m.
Support.
Yes.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.